Committee meeting of November 19th, 2013. Calling the meeting to order at, we're going to round to 6 o'clock. First on the agenda, as always, is the consent agenda. If there are no objections, we'll consider the warrants of November 22nd and the minutes of November 5th to be approved. Okay, great. Correspondence? Anybody have any correspondence? Yes.
I had one person in town ask about how certain monies were being spent for soccer fields, and they had gotten some information from some selectmen. I pointed out where the budgets were and showed him the line items, verified with George and Michael, and he's satisfied with the information we provided.
Great.
He's just concerned because the fields are in disrepair for soccer, but it's not something we maintain. It's a town thing.
Right.
Owned by the town. That's all.
Okay. Thanks. Anybody else have any correspondence in the last couple of weeks? No. Okay. Moving right along. Superintendent's report. Michael.
Yes. Well, I'm going to jump right in. We have three school council reports. So we'll start off with Mary Rollinson and Mr. O'Shea.
Thank you. Good evening. So we've had a fabulous start to the year. It's hard to believe it's almost the winter break, and we've come back with new members of our school council. So we've spent the first couple of meetings setting expectations, going over the school council, and really reviewing the plan and our goals, and then updating our progress towards our goals to see what do we still have left to do, and assessing our progress on that. At our second meeting, we have another meeting this week, and at our last meeting we started to talk about the budget, with the budget season coming up, and then reviewing those goals to see how they're going to impact the budget for the coming year, and if there are any upcoming goals that we'll be adding or tweaking that will impact the budget. So we continue to expect to look at, have the school council look at the budget as we go through the process in the next couple of months. We always enjoy having the superintendent come in February and talk to the school council about the budget process. This year we also have, as well as a lot of new members on the school council, a lot of new members on our PTO, excuse me, and so that's taken, it's just brought a different type of energy and some new younger parents to the group, and they're trying some different avenues of communication, such as Facebook, and trying some new events. We have a fall festival this Friday. They've had already multiple cultural enrichment opportunities for the students that have been, the teachers just loved. We had a music and technology performance on Friday, and it was energizing, and talked a lot about the importance of sustaining and perseverance and effort in school, even though it was just even though it was music and not writing or something that we normally would talk about. So it was a great connection to the arts and sticking with things. Prior to that, the PTO, the Thayer Memorial Library, reached out to us in the PTO this summer to have Jarek Krzyzowska, I hope I said that name right, come in. They were presenting him with a merit award this fall, and wondered if we would like to partner with them to have him come to the school. And he spoke to all the students, including preschool, snuck in, and he was a fantastic speaker. Really talking about, he's local, he's from Worcester, grew up here and went to Rhode Island School of Design, talked about his experiences going to the Worcester Art Museum, and then showed a lot of his work when he was in 4th grade, 3rd grade, and how his work looked a lot like theirs, but again, determination, perseverance, finding, he said one thing that really stuck with students and staff about, sometimes he shows his thoughts in pictures and sometimes he shows them in words. So and then he showed graphic organizers he uses to write his books, and it was ones 4th graders were using the day before. So the connection was just, we couldn't have planned that better. And the students really enjoy his books, and we're getting a lot of requests for those in the library now. So the PTO has been very active with a lot of cultural enrichment activities, and we're in the middle of a spell-a-thon right now. So if you're driving through Lancaster and see random words just stuck up around the town, it's kind of a scavenger hunt for the students to find different words, and then they come back and spell them. And it's a fundraiser, so they're having fun with that. Academically, we continue to work on meeting our recent student achievement results. We've continued to partner with the Teaching and Learning Alliance. This year we're focusing less on the Reader's Workshop and more on the Writer's Workshop. We've had 2 sessions already with Stephanie Heights-Susan, who's the consultant this year for them, and excellent feedback. Carol Archambault has been attending those sessions too, and very productive. The lab classroom teachers continue to support their peers and open up their classrooms. Last week we had 3 teachers from Lunenburg come to experience the Reader's Workshop model and balanced literacy approach and reflect on the practice. So it was nice to have teachers from another town come and give positive feedback and take something away. Our enrichment, the first session of our 3 enrichment programs has started. We have 5 programs going on now. We have them all on Monday. We have things from drama to mural, Legos, so different clubs during the day and after school. As always, each session is full to the max, parents are deeply involved in running a lot of those programs, so it's a great energy in the school. The box program is up and running again, too. We had so many students, we had to have a lottery. We had about 30 students taking place in that. That's the before-school exercise program. My son's school just started implementing it. They came and watched Michelle Fredette and Lynn Perkins do it last spring. They're charging $10 per student.
Did you get money from Box yet? Did you ever get the money from them?
I think Box originally gave us some startup funds, and they gave us free training, too. Yeah.
Because I didn't think we ever got it.
I don't know. I can look into it. I don't know.
No, it's all right. I just didn't know if we reapplied or something. Because they do have money.
Oh, that's good. That was like that. And so that's going to something new this year too is I think the Neshoba music program is just fabulous, and Scott Rossley really energizes the kids every year, but he's trying a couple of new things this year. He's started a jazz club, or a jazz band that he's taken just about all the students who they had to try out and audition, but it's a great opportunity to move kind of past a more select group of students who really want to put in some more effort and try a different genre of music. And then this spring, I believe Stowe did this last spring, where our band is going to go to the Great Eastern Music Festival and perform and compete there. So it's a great opportunity for the students to reach out beyond the school and get recognized for their musical efforts. It takes it's like sports. It's a lot of practice, and that's their performance, and they'll get recognized for their performance. So I'm glad that he's taking the leap and trying a couple of new things this year. So we're off to a good start, and a very busy start too.
Great.
I'm wondering if you have any feedback from the teachers, how they're feeling about the evaluation process.
It's just like anything else in change. They just need time. And we're providing a lot of time. They have a lot of great questions. We have a lot of great questions. There's been a lot of really fruitful dialogue, a lot of meetings. So I haven't. It's just new, but they're getting used to it. We're getting used to it, and the conversations, frankly, we're having, it's getting us into the classroom. I had an aide say to me the other day, "Oh, it's so nice to see you in here," because it might not be a room I hit as often, and they love when we, give them feedback, and they get good feedback. So, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Let's keep it coming. Mr. LaForest.
Mr. O'Shea had several of the same points that I have, so I'll just say ditto. And I'll try to not be redundant with what he had said. as you can imagine, most things do overlap, especially with our school councils. We are too in budget season. During our last school council meeting, we went over the process that we go through each year building our budgets, not assuming that we're spending the exact same thing or going to be doing the exact same things. And so we took a close look at our school improvement plan and made sure that we were thinking about and addressing any of the goals on our school improvement plan that really required some unique funding in some way. And our staff has recently received information about that process and has started that already as well. So that was one of the things that we did at our last school council meeting. The other was a request for us to do a presentation on the new evaluation system. I think a lot of parents are hearing about it. They've read about it in our newsletters. Our school council members really kind of wanted to hear more about that. And while I started to lead most of those discussions, our teachers, who are now, almost 3 months into it, were jumping in and feeling very comfortable speaking to those points of the new evaluation process, and really the merits of the new system that's being in place. As Mr. O'Shea had mentioned, we've done a lot of formal observations of teachers that are full class periods now, which is something that we probably haven't done as much of as that we would have liked. The evaluation process really encourages us to do that, or now mandates us to, and so it's a good opportunity to see a start to finish lesson from our newest teachers to our most veteran teachers, as well as those snippets of walkthroughs that we see as well. So some things happening at the center school. We had a very successful Scholastic Book Fair during our conferences. Mrs. Earl, our new librarian, grossed over $10,000, which is the most that we've really kind of taken in many, many years. As a result, there's a couple of options that you can take from that. One is you can take cash or a check and take a percentage of that and go ahead and purchase books, or you can take, if you purchase from Scholastic, and almost get 50% of that back. So we're going to be able to purchase between $4,000 and $5,000 of books, which is really, really exciting. And I know that Mrs. Earl is looking at some unique ways to build up our library. So we're really excited about that, and hats off to her. Today it was really nice at the end of the day. We were able to walk through the foyer and see lots of grocery bags filled with items that our school has collected and are donating to families in need during Thanksgiving. In total, we were able to provide 22 families with meals for Thanksgiving. So it was really a great effort led by our school nurse and someone who's also on the Warm Hearts of Stowe to sort of raise awareness of families in need and make that happen. So that was a really nice thing, and the kids were really excited. So like, gosh, I saw like 50 bags of food out there. Parents running in last minute, I have carrots, I have potatoes. So it was just a really nice thing to see, especially around this time of the year. We've had a number of performances happening this year, thanks to our SBTO and their support. Many of them have focused on anti-bullying and bullying prevention. We too had Jarrett, the author that Mr. O'Shea had, come to us. This will be the second year that he spoke to our first graders. And it's so nice because after his presentation, they're energetic and eager to get out there and try writing and creating their own stories. And I think that really is it's a really important part of the presentations, is to show kids that no matter what your skill level is with drawing and illustrating, which he does both, writing and illustrating, or writing, it's a work in progress. It took him many years, so it was a nice message for them to hear. We have an all-school meeting, so with all of our 600 students this Friday, we have host classes. So our 5th grade class, Mr. Topalian, and Miss Grady's 1st grade class will be co-presenting. If you can believe it, we recently sent out information about kindergarten for next year. We've already gotten 92 families who have sent information back, so that's even more than what we had seen from our census, so that was interesting. And a lot of people were really interested in a full day, so the lottery will take place in December on the same day for everyone in the district, so we're excited for that. I had spoke previously that our science club and our box club has been extremely successful, and those are coming to an end. We'll be starting our 2nd session of science club in a few weeks, and again, that brought in a lot of participation and interest. Our golf club also continues to be really successful, and this year we're looking to bring back a Lego club and maybe even try out an astronomy night, so that'll be interesting. And our teachers have been really taking a look at the benchmark assessments that were completed, and all that data has been input to the systems that we have to collect that information and analyze it. So we're looking to adjust our instruction accordingly. That's all I have.
The presentation you did on the evaluation, that was to the school council?
Yes, to the school council.
To the school council.
Yep. Thanks.
Thank
Have a
you.
nice Thanksgiving, everybody.
Thank you.
So I introduced my co-pilot for today. This is Shay Cruikshank, one of our seniors at the high school and also a senior member of our school council. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the work we've been doing on our school improvement plan and then hand it off to Shay to talk about stuff going on at the high school. And actually, before I talk about the school improvement plan, kind of a public service announcement. I did something new this year. I know this is a time of year when parents at the 8th grade are thinking about their high school options and potentially looking at things outside of Neshoba as high school options. And so a couple weeks ago on the day of the parent-teacher conferences, I did a tour for rising 9th grade parents who wanted to get to know the high school and who were thinking about different school options, just to give them a chance to make sure that they make an informed decision, that went very well. We had probably 20 or 30 families show up for that and did some tours around the high school. And anyone who was not able to make that, I'm always very happy to sit down with parents and talk about all the wonderful things happening at the high school. And then, of course, when we get into the spring, we'll do our big Rising 9th grade open house as we start getting towards the registration process. But that was something new that ended up going over very well, so I was excited about that. As far as work at the school council, right now we are focused on developing our school improvement planning goals. We spent our last meeting talking a lot about different potential topics to focus on. The two that we chose were, one is the continuing topic from last year, and that is continuing to try to do everything we can to support lower achieving students. We've I think, made some good strides in that, but because I still think we have room to grow and work to do, that's going to continue to be one of our school improvement plan goals for the year. And then particularly with the emphasis on bring your own device at the high school this year and a lot of thinking about technology and where we're trying to head with technology, that was the other goal that we identified, is trying to identify where we're trying to go with technology and working in collaboration also with central office, with instructional technology and IT departments. There were other topics that we thought were important, that there's work happening around, that we ended up not choosing specifically for school improvement plan goals, but continuing to try to think about ways to make the school greener. We have a renewed emphasis with our green team this year that had been kind of a more ad hoc group in previous years, but we were able to get a stipend for that this year and have a new advisor for it, and so they've been doing some good work. And then also looking at the facilities at the high school, both the amount of space that we have and then also the quality of the space, but I know that that's also something that's being looked at the district level. And we will be finalizing our SIP plan in December, so of course I'll be bringing that to all of you to get your feedback and thoughts. But that's been the major work of the school council to date. And then want to hand it over to Shay to talk about other things happening at the high school.
Thank you. So we have a lot of cool stuff going on right now. And then in the next week or so, we have about 4 things going on. We have Powder Puff football. Started off with that. For anybody that doesn't know, it's when the girls play football and the guys cheerlead. So
In costumes.
In costumes, yeah. We have it's gonna be fun. I'm actually one of the cheerleaders, so that'll be interesting. We're doing a halftime show for in between the games. So
I'm definitely coming to that.
Made a mixtape. We're gonna have a dance. It's gonna be great on the turf field. So that'll be fun.
Is it a fundraiser?
No.
You shared it?
Actually, yeah. I think people that want to come pay, and then if you want to bring canned food, I think they accept that too. So it'll be fun. We'll see how it goes. In past years, a lot of people haven't come. There hasn't been a lot of attendance, but I think this year it's been planned better, and I think it'll be a bigger turnout.
Well, with you cheering on the sidelines, I think.
Yeah.
That'll definitely drive participation.
That'll be good. In our old cheer costumes, so that'll be nice. We have Lip Dub coming up, which is basically a school-wide video to a song where camera person goes throughout the school, and different clubs all are in groups, and everyone's singing along to the song. It's really just upbeat, fun activity to do, and we've never done it before. Or
I don't think so.
We've never done it before, so that'll be interesting. We'll see how that turns out. We have the pep rally coming up on next Tuesday. We have some days. We have some spirit days before that. One of them is One Color Day, where all the grades dress up in one color and they have a competition against each other. So seniors are blue, and that's all I remember. Like that. That's all you know. That's all I need to know. And it's basically a competition, so you can go check in the cafeteria, and depending on how many pieces of clothing you're wearing of that color, you get a certain amount of points. And I don't know, I think they announce you at the pep rally who won. I don't know if we get a prize or anything, but we'll see.
No prizes.
No prizes. No prizes, okay. So that would be fun. That would be fun. And we have the Community Service Club is actually doing a lot right now. They just completed a shoe drive, so people brought in old shoes and new shoes, and we got quite a bit of shoes, so they're looking to donate those through some organization. I'm not sure what.
It was to Nike, is that right?
Maybe.
Yeah, I think they grind them up. It's a reuse a shoe campaign, if that's what you're talking. Yeah, and they grind them up and turn it into material for like playgrounds.
Is that still going on?
I think it just ended.
Yeah, it just ended, but now they're kicking off with a canned food drive, so people can bring in canned food and
They're no longer accepting your old sneakers.
So they'll bring in, they're kicking off with a canned food drive, so people can bring in canned food, and I think they're doing it up until the end of, before break, before we go to Thanksgiving break. So hopefully a lot of people bring some canned food. And one really great thing we're doing is Operation Christmas Child, where they have free boxes, and people can get a box and fill it up with toys and all kinds of stuff, and they send out these boxes to children in need so that they can receive a Christmas present. So I thought that was really wonderful.
Is that Club for a Cause that's doing that?
I do not know.
I think
Which
it
club's
is,
doing it,
which is the new community service club.
Is it? I think so. So I think that's really wonderful, and that's about all that's coming down the show right now.
So I have a question for Shay. Other than the participation in the sport of cheerleading, are you participating in any other winter sports this year?
I'm not. Take the winter off.
I think there's
Swim team, maybe. We'll see.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
How many parents attended the walkthrough?
So I had 3 different tours, one at 9, one at like 11:30, and then one I think at 2. And preceding the one at 9 o'clock, I did just kind of a relatively brief presentation about the high school. And I would say we probably had 20 or 30 different families at that. You know, in some cases there might have been 2 parents and a child, or just 1 parent or 1 parent and a child. So I'd say about 20 to 30 families were represented. That's a very loose number. Came to the presentation and then said joined us for the tour. For the other 2 tours, it was much lighter, probably not more than about 3 to 5 families for those tours. So overall, I don't know, maybe 30 to 40 different families showed up, 20 to 40.
So I have a question for you. Do parents ever request talking to other parents who made the decision to leave or not leave the district?
I have not had a parent request that, but I'd be happy to, try to put them in touch with
So
somebody.
as a parent who decided to stay, I'm more than willing to talk
Great.
to anyone who's thinking about leaving.
I will send them your way. Thank you.
How do parents find out that you were giving this tour?
So I did a phone message to all of the current 8th grade parents, and I think there was a phone message and an email to all of them prior to that. The one group that I missed, and I wish that I had, put some stuff in newspapers or broadcast it in additional ways, is I missed people who were not already in the district. So for example, I had one parent call me and say, my child's currently going to a private school for 8th grade, but we're really interested in looking at the high school for 9th grade. Because their child wasn't already in the Neshoba district, they didn't get it, and they heard about it, like second hand. So this is definitely something I want to do again in future years, but I think that I want to try to do a broader reach to make sure that people who are not already in the system also find out about it ahead of time. And of course, I'm always happy to do any kind of tour or talk to people with questions. And then we'll do more in the spring, and we'll make sure that we get that information out to not just to current 8th grade parents in the district, but to everyone else as well. But that was one thing I think that I would add for a future year.
A good resource for you, I don't know if other towns do, but Lancaster's town clerk sends out like what's happening in town messages, and it goes to everyone. And we get those all the time, but if you're on their mailing list, and that covers a lot of people, I mean, not a lot, but probably definitely some people who may not go to school here.
I don't think I'm currently on that mailing list.
Sue Thompson is her name.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anything else?
No.
All right, thanks very much.
Thank you for coming. So on the rest of my, under my section here, quick update on the calendar committee. So the calendar committee has met. They've developed 2 proposals. I'm in the process of meeting, just met with the Department of Teaching and Learning to go over our PD plan to see how things align there. And then I'll be meeting with the association in the next week or 2 at our regular meeting to go over it. So I hope to have the committee back, or representatives, at our first meeting in December. So we'll, and I'll have a recommendation at that point. Also to update on educator evaluation, I think, adding on to what our principals have already said, I think our teachers are doing a fabulous job of really working with what we're all working with under a lot of attention, and certainly with news out of Boston about information on the on what will be public and what won't be public. Certainly adds to it, but I think our teachers are taking what we've done all the while, which is very similar to the process that we have. And the piece that's new, which we're all learning about, is the technology to look at the evidence of what, I look at it as of how we're bragging about our work, and how we're bragging about being good teachers and being good educators. And certainly that's a new piece, and it's in some cases can be a time-consuming piece, learning the technology and figuring out and sorting out what we want to document our work by. So that's where we're at. We're sort of at that beginning stage of learning that technology and learning what evidence needs to be there. Our committee is continuing to meet. We're having very good dialogues about just those issues and how we can streamline it for teachers and for administrators. We're already talking about changing the schedule of observations a bit so that it's more meaningful for teachers, but also it would cut down the workload for administrators tremendously, or make more sense of it really for our teachers. So that process is going well, I think, overall. Something that's not in my written report that I just want to highlight on in terms of what's happening. You may have read in the local papers, there's a bus company that Atlantic Express is an area provider around around our district and in our district for our special needs students, and they are recently went under Chapter 11. Filed for Chapter 11 for reorganization. We are impacted by that. However, the impact is unknown at this point. We have done our due diligence, and we do have a secondary plan should that filing not get accepted. Unfortunately, the timetable is December 31st. So if we change, we'll be changing for January 2nd or January 4th when we return, 5th. And so, but we'll be ready. We have a plan in place, and there shouldn't be any interruption, but it will be a change in service, certainly. We hope to know something by the middle of next week, maybe. But like almost everybody, we're learning from the newspapers as well. They don't have a lot of opportunity to communicate what's going on until after the fact. They sort of, things get out in the newspaper, and then we get a letter. So, read the telegram. So we'll keep you posted on that as well. And that's my superintendent.
Go through.
Oh, I wasn't going to read it.
Okay.
Just as a highlight, there are a few things in there. Parents in the community might want to read probably the biggest one, which is great news. Our high school received top honors recognition in Newsweek's list of the top 2,000 schools. We were in the top 25%. So congratulations to our senior class and to our principal in guiding the school to that ranking. We also have a recognition for our MIAA Sportsmanship Award for our girls soccer team, which is definitely laudatory, and congratulations to our students there and our coaches. We also, I think soon, we'll have maybe an award for our athletic director, but I don't know if that's out yet. So
I think it's formally in March.
Formally in March. So stay tuned on that. And just a highlight of a couple of other things for the committee, and we'll put it on the web as well. Our concession stand, for those who didn't get one in finance. This is just an update. It's going well. It will not be ready for Thanksgiving, as we'd all hoped. But it is going well, and Bill Cleary and his team are just doing a marvelous job of fitting this into their schedules to make it happen. So it's going to look great and be very helpful to our booster clubs and to our schools in general, and to our sports programs in general.
Can I just ask?
Yeah.
What's stored in this storage?
What is in there now? So we have a little bit of maintenance equipment. We have a little bit of sports equipment. I think there's now some theater equipment in there, theater props and so forth.
There's a whole bunch of like huge pads and stuff in the corner of the gym. Is that ever going to go in there?
I think it's pretty full, but I haven't taken an inventory late.
But they need those for wrestling.
They need those inside too. That's the wrestling pads.
Yeah.
No, these are the big, like, you pole vault into them. Really big, thick pads.
The pole vault pad is going to be on there. There is a place for the pole vault pad.
Okay. Because there's a whole bunch of junk in the
It may come in when they do the renovations. I know the outside track and field pads are going on there.
That's what's there now, I believe. That's what it looks like anyway.
There was some space added on there, but as you know from your home, once you build it, it fills out, you know, and so it does. And lastly, I'll just point out the Teaching and Learning team attended the Curriculum Summit, which is a statewide initiative by the Department of Elementary and Secondary Ed to really try to get everybody aware of what's available to them and the direction the department is going and how to support them. And one of the pieces of work that the department has done really a tremendous job is they have been able to design modeled units of study based on curriculum standards. Some of them align to what we're doing currently, and so obviously we'll have access to those, and they will be available to our teachers. But it's a great model, which we're going to use to start the conversation, or continue the conversation of designing our units of study as well. And so we hope to be doing some of that work this summer, and really getting a number of units of study onto our Atlas Rubicon, which is going to come up a little bit later in the agenda. So we'll be talking about that.
Michael, do you know what our ranking was last year for the high school?
I know we were in the same top 25%. I don't know the specific high school number.
Advanced or?
It sounds very familiar, but I don't. I'll have to look through my notes or my other.
I want to say in Newsweek we went up like 100 spots, something like that. I'm not entirely certain, but I think that's correct.
Well, that would be great.
Positive direction.
Absolutely.
300 to 400 or 500 to 400?
500.
Did you talk about space needs?
I think that's right.
I just don't want to make a plug.
Sure. So we do have the Space Needs Committee. I have communicated to the towns and the schools. I've got a lot of volunteers. There are still a few seats left that could be represented. And so if people are interested in being on that, we do have some seats for some middle school representatives because we want people who are coming into the school and are going to be part of the long-term picture. We have folks that Dr. Graham has presented for seats. We have a student person who's going to be sitting on the committee. And so if people are interested, at the middle school level, they can reach out to their middle school principal and let them know so that we can have their names, or it could be somebody from their school council. So, and our first meeting will be in December.
Excellent. Is that it?
That's it.
All right, moving on to subcommittee reports. First up is Nishida. I hope Shay didn't steal your thunder.
So starting off with sports, the fall season will come to an end on Thanksgiving, and the winter season will start on December 2nd. The cross-country teams competed in the district championship on November 9th, with the boys team coming in 3rd place, and Raleigh Gillen winning the district meet, and girls coming in 4th place. The boys team qualified for the state meet and came 10th in the state. The girls team had 2 runners qualify for the state meet, and Gillen placed 6th overall in Massachusetts. The cheerleading team placed 3rd in the regional competition over the weekend and qualified for the state competition, which will be held this weekend. The girls soccer team lost a tough district semifinal soccer game 1-0 to Algonquin. The team finished the season with an overall record of 14-2-4. Although the team did not reach their goal of winning a state championship, the team was invited to attend the state final as they were selected as the MIAA Division I Girls Soccer Sportsmanship Award winner. The football team defeated Fitchburg on the road last week. The team will host North Middlesex on Thanksgiving at 10 a.m. As Shay mentioned, the pep rally is next Tuesday. And on the same day, we'll be doing the Lift Up music video, which we're all looking forward to. This year's fall play is A Midsummer Night's Dream, and it will be held on Friday, November 22nd, and Saturday, November 23rd at 7:30 p.m., and Sunday, November 24th at 2 o'clock p.m. We're all looking forward to this as well, and the drama kids put in a lot of effort, and it's going to be good.
Tickets available at the door?
Yeah.
Go burn. Thank you. Any questions? All right, thanks a lot. Next up is the Finance Subcommittee. Marina, step forward and a little bit about the questions about the fields, and that was about it. Okay. Policy, we met last week and went over a bunch of policies, which we're going to talk about a little bit later in the agenda. That will be for our first reading. Personnel, there's no report. SpedPAC, no report. ESBC, nothing, right? Okay. We're just whipping through this. Moving on to new business. I went to the joint conference of MASC, which is Massachusetts School Committees, and MASS, which is Massachusetts Superintendent organization. And it was excellent. Went to a couple of different things. I tried to pick things that were relevant for us. I went to one on, one on collective bargaining, because it's our year to be negotiating for the renewal of the contract with the teachers. And I learned a lot of interesting things there, just some technical things. There was a lawyer making sure that we all understood what we were to negotiate, what we were not to negotiate. Went to a workshop on communications. That was very interesting, talking about sort of building alliances with different groups in town. That was really valuable. And then the other highlight, in my opinion, was there was a keynote speaker who talked about leadership. A really great speech. It was really inspiring and interesting. I thought it was well worth the time and energy. So that was that. Next is private school approval.
Yes,
Michael?
so we were waiting on, I'd done the visit on the RFK school in Lancaster back in September, and we were waiting for their building occupancy permit. So that arrived, so I'm recommending approval of the RFK school.
Do we want to take a vote then? Anyone want to make a motion?
I move that we vote to approve the RFK school as recommended by Superintendent Wood.
Second. All those in favor? It's unanimous. Great. That moves us right along to policies. As we've been doing of late, the policy subcommittee has been getting together and going over the policies with a fine-tooth comb and trying to update everything. We try to do every policy at least every 10 years, updating for all kinds of things. As you can see in our packets, there are 4 different policies that were up, and they're kind of long policies. One is the school committee bylaws, which is really long, as it should be. And we went through it carefully and made sure that the things that we're actually doing are in there, and things that are in there we're actually doing. So I think it was a really valuable exercise to go through. I think we caught a few things and made a few changes. You can see the changes in the policy itself. Then we also went through the school councils and site-based management policies. Again, equally valuable to just sort of pick up things that I think that the policy had just gotten a little cumbersome, and we streamlined it and made sure that it was really about school councils and not about everybody else's jobs in that particular policy. We also went over the evaluation for the school district administrators, and that is in the packet as well. And then last but not least, the policy for when an administrator is in, if there is an absence of a policy or a procedure, that the administrator is responsible, I guess.
The applies judgment.
Yes, exactly. So I think, this was for first reading, but I don't know if anybody had a chance to read through them. If you have any questions, this would be a good time to bring them up. If you don't have questions yet, but you do, we'll have it up for a second reading in the future, so you'll have another opportunity to talk about it. Anybody have anything to talk about? No? Did you want to say anything about it?
No, I think we were thorough, and it's always good to, some of these have not been touched during my tenure here, so it's good to see them being revitalized.
One of the things, like I said, we were constantly checking, particularly on the school committee bylaws, to make sure that we're doing what it says and we're saying what we're doing. And one of the things that was on there is that, that there's an opportunity in each agenda for anybody to bring up agenda items for the next agenda. So you'll see on the agenda this meeting, there is item number 8, which says items for consideration for next agenda. So we're going to try to make an effort to make sure that that's on every agenda going forward. It's just one of the little things that we caught. So hopefully, everybody knew anyway that they had an opportunity to bring up any topic they want, but now it's official. If there's no discussion, I guess we can move along.
All right.
The Atlas Rubicon?
Yes. So I've invited 2 of our members of the Department of Teaching and Learning, Cindy Larson and Carol Archambault, here tonight, and they're probably the most versed with Atlas Rubicon. Atlas Rubicon is our software that we use to house our curriculum, and like any purposeful software, what we're looking for is something that that's very easy to use, that teachers will feel very much at home with it and find it useful. And this particular software, after looking at a number of different tools that are out there, we thought really embodied the pieces that we liked, which obviously the teacher use or ease is number one. Number two is it allowed us to make it our own in terms of what we have for formats, for curriculum. And it is something that will encourage collaboration. That is, people can work on it from different places and be collaborators toward our units. And that's important. When you have 3 towns and you have many people contributing to them, you can't always get them in the same place. And so this will allow our staff to be able to write together, give feedback together, and keep track of changes over time. So I'm introducing it to you as the school committee because, first of all, kind of in a hierarchy of things, it's something that you're going to hear several times during the budget process, in that there will be conversations around time necessary for teachers to write curriculum units. You heard me mention earlier about the decimal units. You'll also hear it referenced, I think, more and more in the NEAS conversations, because it's something the high school, I think, out of already has begun to use it far more than any other age group in terms of being able to access it and find it easy to use. And so it's something that I think when our visiting team comes, you're going to want to talk about how do we collaborate, and this is one of the tools that we'll be using. And so it's not something we, because of what we saw as a number of initiatives, this is not an initiative. This is something sort of in the background. We've rolled it out to teachers. We've said, here it is, but you have no obligation to use it just yet. We just want it here. We want you to kind of play around with it. We're going to be working with it in the next couple of months in the Department of Teaching and Learning to kind of get it up to speed for some of the formats that we want. We have one in there now, but it needs to be tweaked a little bit. So I know Cindy and Carol did the smart thing. They used their time wisely, and they found a presentation that they think is better than them. But
That's right.
I think that they can add a lot to it as well. So, do you want to say something about the video?
Yeah, so I was going to, Carol and I picked 2 videos for you. Both are combined under 7 minutes. So, but the first one is Welcome to Atlas, and it does a much better job than Carol and I could do to show an overall reason of why you would want a math curriculum and why you would want to use a tool like Atlas. And the other reason we wanted to do a video and not do the presentation ourselves is because Atlas revamped almost all of its software over August. And so we looked at a new interface, and they've made vast improvements, and we did just go to a 2-day workshop with lots of other districts to learn how they're implementing it, and it was very interesting and informative. But we felt like the Welcome to Atlas video gave kind of an overview of kind of where we are and where we want to go. So if you don't mind, I'll start with that.
So a quick question before you start.
Yes.
Is this for all teachers to use, or like a subset that's working on the curriculum?
No, all teachers eventually you'd want using this. There's a communication tool in here. You'll see these are topics that they have, but teachers will be able to communicate using this tool and to have discussions around curriculum, not just face-to-face, but as they're building it. So you can send messages back and forth. It goes right through our Gmail, and you can leave notes inside particular curriculum areas. So the other day, I have one of the ITS that uses it all the time at Swallow Union, and yesterday I got an email that she went in and had modified her, a lesson for second graders around mapping. So I thought that, it's great. So I get a notification when someone goes in there and makes a change, and I can go in and see what she changed. I can leave her a note back and have a discussion.
So eventually is the goal to have teachers put their lessons plans on it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know. And you'll see in the beginning of the tour, they'll show a visual of binders. And then, really, because that's where it exists right now, it's in binders, so it's a change. But we have a fairly new teacher at the high school a science teacher that came in, he didn't have that. He didn't have binders, he didn't come with the curriculum. He went right in, he's been documenting everything in Atlas and absolutely loves it. So it's a change, but you'll see, we're going to show you an exploration video, and I think you'll get an idea of why we'd want to map the curriculum, because you, as an administrator or a principal or a teacher coming to the district, you can explore curriculum below and above. So if I'm a third grade teacher, I can explore what's in first, second, and what's in fourth and fifth, as well as what the other schools are doing.
So is it by teacher, by grade, for all teachers in the district? And it's for teachers, and it's not for students or parents to look at, correct?
It's not for students, but there is a public portal that we could decide what we'd like to make public.
Okay,
And
so
put out the map, so that you get an overview of what
the curriculum is, or maybe even, okay, so it's like a SharePoint or a wiki, or it's like a...
SharePoint. Like a wiki, but you'll get a good idea of, maybe you might have more questions.
Before you start, I want to make sure I'm clear. I don't know that I understand. Are we currently considering this tool? Are we currently testing this tool?
We already have it.
We have it.
We're
We
using
have,
it.
but everyone's not using it.
No.
Who's using it?
Mostly the high school, and then, as Cindy said, individual teachers are starting to add to it.
So how long have we had it?
Just a year.
How much did it cost? And is there a yearly fee?
It's a per student seat license.
Per student?
Is it per student or is it one?
$6?
$6.
Per student, something like that comes up to.
And so is there at least a teacher in each school using it?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
So will it become part of the expectation?
Yes.
Okay, well, that makes sense.
Oh, yes, definitely.
And then is there, so there's an annual fee based on number of students, and so we're currently paying that now?
Yes.
Oh, well, yeah, let's see the tour. We're paying for it, we're not using it? Sure, let's see it.
Ready for the tour?
Is it currently the whole district?
Every teacher has access to it, yes.
Yes, I know, but we're paying for seats, number of students. Is it the whole
The entire
district?
district, right.
Yeah. Just want to make sure the sound is...
Welcome to Atlas.
Whoop.
The entire Rubicon team is excited to share Atlas with you. Atlas is brought to you
I'm going to stop for a second, because I don't think... Can you hear that? Yeah. Could you? Okay, but the speakers weren't. I did turn it on. Try one more time.
diverse group of educators who designed a system to help facilitate curriculum enhancement. This includes documentation, easy analysis, collaborative conversation, all of the steps that encourage overall growth. Atlas was created to make the entire process easier. Because curriculum work can be complex. At times it can also be messy or even time-consuming. But the payoff to students and their opportunities for learning are just too great to ignore. Transparency and visibility to what students are learning in other classrooms is fundamental to simplifying this work and to operating with context. Once curriculum is visible, opportunities for integration between grades and across disciplines become more apparent. Possibilities for ensuring a vertically articulated curriculum with integrity become clearer. And changes to the curriculum can be made to increase student engagement. However, to achieve a truly articulate and integrated curriculum, and therefore a connected learning experience, collaboration is critical. Meaningful collaborative inquiry involves focused conversation around what's important, but often finding the time to meet in person is just not possible. Transferring knowledge by sharing curriculum reports, joining discussions about curriculum, or leaving reflective feedback through notes are all methods to accentuate the dialogue. And with it, the growth and advancement of the overall learning experience. But good collaborative work requires context. We all need to see the big picture. When educators can personalize the information that they need, they have the insight necessary to truly collaborate and to make good decisions. Your classroom is student-centered. Now you can make your planning teacher-centered by personalizing the perspective that you need. Curriculum development has undergone a fundamental paradigm shift. The student's journey and the integrated learning continuum necessary for that journey are dynamic. The educators involved in guiding student learning are operating with purpose and with passion. We share in your passions, and we are immensely grateful for the opportunity to be your partner in this work. Our sincere hope is that your experience with Atlas will truly make a difference.
Any questions about that before we go to Explore? Can everyone hear this okay?
The power of Rubicon Atlas is that it allows you to investigate your curriculum through a variety of lenses and perspectives. The reports and tools in Atlas allow both broad overviews and the ability to drill into specific details. As teachers develop curriculum, you can explore it in real time, browse, search, and reports. Many people find the Report Wizard a great place to start when they begin exploring curriculum. It can help guide you to the types of reports available in Atlas and where to look for answers to your curriculum inquiries. The browse is a great way to quickly view a specific course as a calendar, a curriculum map, or a course description. The filters on the left allow you to quickly find a course by school division or campus, by grade, by subject area, or by teacher. We can even review previous years in the archive. Search is a more precise way to find units where key concept skills or topics appear within all courses in the system. Similar to browse, filters can be used in only inquiry by narrowing a search or by broadening a search to include linked attachments, lesson plans, or by utilizing the thesaurus to include synonyms colleagues may have used in their courses. Search results can be viewed as lists, graphs, or aggregated tables to better identify potential gaps or areas of concentration. You can also conduct keyword searches on your adopted standards to find where your terms appear in standards and to view curriculum alignments. The reports section of Atlas offers many ways of pulling together information from the curriculum in different formats. The powerful tools here can be used to answer critical curriculum questions and start meaningful conversations. Scope and sequence reports are great to compare multiple courses and units. Use vertical reports to see how concepts and skills scaffold over the years within a subject, or select horizontal reports on a grade level to look for opportunities for interdisciplinary collaboration across subject areas. You can combine course calendars to compare pacing of courses or better visualize where topics may align. The standards analysis reports are a great place to view both our alignment to standards, and teachers can use the My Standards area to check in on their progress aligning units of assessments to standards. While teams may want to create customized reports to see not just where and how often benchmarks are taught, but also which ones have yet to be addressed. These reports can all be drilled down to see specific connections between standards and course details. The reports on assessment methods allow you to analyze our assessment practice by grade, subject, school division, or course. This allows your team to better reflect on the ways in which students are being assessed and better understand how diverse your assessment mix may be. The action buttons on all these menus allow you to save, discuss, or share any report in Atlas for review during your curriculum conversations. You can also pin a report to your MyAtlas dashboard to keep track of curriculum initiatives or key areas of focus for the current school year. Personalized MyAtlas will allow you to access any saved reports in your system and adjust your MyAtlas dashboard as priorities change. Use the power of Atlas to answer the curriculum questions that make a difference and spark the conversations that will impact student learning at your school.
I'm sorry about the volume on that. I was hoping you'd get a chance to see the overview of how you can, whoops, stop. How how people can search through and drill down to the standards that are being taught and the standards that are being assessed. So it is very new that you're going to be sharing your curriculum as a 9th grade science teacher with, 5th grade teacher. So it's a new concept.
Is anyone uncomfortable with sharing their curriculum?
I don't think so. I mean, they share it already from classroom to classroom, and they have discussions around it every time, all the time at PD.
Mostly the units will be devised by more than one person. There'll be a team effort on the units. And when they're posted, they're not going to have a problem with that.
And can anyone change the unit under their posting? Or is it locked and you can open it up for other people? How does
Either
that
or.
work?
So you could start with one unit, a basic unit, and then share that with 9 grade 3 teachers across the district. Then they can take that and make a copy of that and then customize it for their own. And then, let's say a new teacher comes in the following year, they can then make a copy of that and give it to a new teacher. It's extremely helpful, I think, for someone new coming in.
Another really nice thing about being able to share the units is if you are a 6th grade science teacher and you're wondering what the context was over a certain skill taught in the 5th grade, you can go back and see what that context was without chasing somebody down to ask them or emailing them to find out what it was. It's right there.
Well, in science,
so then you can build.
In 6 and 8, it seems there's so much overlap in 6 and 8 science, so it would be interesting if they could see each other's work. There's a lot of overlap.
And they don't always have that time to sit with each other, so it's nice to have that conversation.
And science actually happens to be, one of the areas where we'll be hopefully writing more curriculum very soon, as the state approves them, the new standards. But one of the first things that we'll do is to look to get curriculum maps fully completed on here. We already have ELA and math drafts on there, but we hope to do that this summer, by the end of the summer, and then we'll start having teachers write the units. Again, many of the units are already in somebody's notebook or on somebody's computer already in their own place.
Right.
We're just going to bring them together and get them written and get them into Atlas so that they can
It's a
then
lot
share.
of work.
It is a lot of
And
work.
that can't be underestimated, and that's a lot of time for teachers.
Right.
Is there, you could maybe do community service efforts for kids to type it in, maybe get community service hours and get some cheap labor?
That's illegal, Ken.
I need community service.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting idea. I think many teachers find writing is part of the thinking process. So it's where we're starting from scratch. I don't think that can be done, but maybe
A lot of people have
can.
binders, though. I have
Yeah.
sisters and friends, and they have their binders. If somebody could just get it in and they could edit it, or
Right.
just something to think
Right.
about.
Yeah.
You also learn the tool by putting it in, but just,
Absolutely, absolutely.
that would be a little overwhelming for me as a teacher.
Right.
I think to get
Well,
it in there.
as Carol mentioned, go ahead.
It's just one step at a time. If we get the mapping done first, we get in essential questions, we get in big ideas, then you go back and do the pieces of the unit. You wouldn't necessarily throw everything in. All the standards have just changed. So
Right.
everybody
It's
has
actually
gone
good
through the
timing.
curriculum. It's very good timing to be documenting it this way.
So I think there were some questions about, why do we have it now and in terms of how it's moving forward. So we bought it in time for us to get our ELA and Math Common Core done and done well. And so that's embedded in there. We sort of stepped back a bit because of the initiatives that we saw coming down the pike with, especially, not as much with the evaluation tool as much as DDMs and designing assessments. We actually think that to kind of move forward with the DDMs piece, the assessments and getting common assessments, we need to have more of the curriculum written and formalized and shared so that teachers can see what they'll be connecting to. So we stepped back we're going to be stepping forward next year with Atlas and more formal writing. And I think, as you were getting to, it's a lot of time. So these are going to be teachers who are getting extra duty because they can't do it as part of embedded time within their school day. They're going to have to find other times to do it. So mostly summer work that we'll be looking at.
Do they get paid for that?
They do for curriculum work.
Do they have the option to not do it?
Yes, it's volunteer.
So was this somewhat motivated by the standards-based reporting? Because I talked a lot about standards in it.
No, not really. It's more strictly curriculum. Even if we weren't doing standards-based, we have to have written curriculum. Now that we've had 2 major areas revised, it just made sense to have it in a collaborative model instead of the old notebook model.
When you say when you say 2, does that mean ELA and math for every grade is in there? Like, what does that mean?
ELA math curriculum maps are done. We don't have units of study for all of them at all grade levels done yet.
I'm confused again. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
The question's not for you, so I don't want to, thank you very much. But I can't wrap my head around this. We're not currently using it across the district, but we are moving in that direction.
Right.
And we have purchased the license for this past year. And so then we're going to be beholden to this. We're committing to this, right? So just for because I don't know, what is the total cost per year?
So at $6 for 35.
If it's $6,
Yeah.
I think it was 10.
So it's 10,000 a year.
Okay.
And then what? So
It's more than
More than $10,000.
$10 a person.
$10 a person.
Oh, a student.
no.
I'll look up the price.
I don't know if it's per student, but it was.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that
I don't think it's that.
It seems an odd way to count it. I mean, I guess you could count the teachers maybe.
Right.
Yeah.
Counting the students is
I think
odd.
I'd have to look it up. I have so many softwares, I can't remember some
Okay.
per student, some per,
It was just a data
get that
point. It doesn't
information.
have to be specific, but if we use this, the benefit is consistency, collaboration,
The communication across the
right.
board. Yeah, yeah. And I think that, so to be clear, every teacher can use it, and depending on their own interest in technology, they've opted to use it. So we have, for those teachers who are really tech pros, they're on there. For those that, have other things, things in the fire, they're waiting until they have to use it.
That's scary. Those are the ones I'd want to relay now.
But they will. I mean, I think that one of the things that we have to our benefit is that we've already set the tone in our culture and our organization that we share units of study, we share assessments, and so I don't think that this is going to be a common place for people to want to come to.
Is this going to phase out Google Docs in our school?
Yeah. No, they actually work in unison.
Neither of them do. So somehow they get involved with that. And it'll simplify assessments. All the assessments they're doing. Are they all going through it?
I think it'll improve assessments because, as you saw, you can sort where units of study are and where you're hitting the standards across the different units. So that teachers, I think, will have a better ability to know, which assessments should go where in their unit of study.
So will the assessments that we have currently talk to this one somehow? Will they work together? So how do you input? How will that happen?
Well, these would be all teacher-designed assessments that come out of this.
So when they create a unit in here, the first thing that I ask for is what are the standards that are aligned to it. So they're choosing from a drop-down list all the standards that are in that unit, and then they're putting in the types of assessment that they use in that unit. But it doesn't deliver assessments.
So the teachers have to input it. There's no communication between all the assessments that we're doing currently.
That's correct.
So it's a new one.
Well, again, all of the ones that teachers design can go on here. The only ones that can't are the ones that are, like Ames Web, for example.
Oh, so it's coming back.
Yeah.
But this doesn't collect data, student
Right.
data.
This doesn't.
Yeah.
This is a warehouse where if I'm giving an end-of-a-unit test on Native Americans in the 3rd grade, then the test would appear here, what the test would look like, and the classroom in Lancaster and Stowe and Bolton would all have the same test, but the data does not go on Atlas. The data, if we wanted to share that data, it would have to go under a different device.
And so anything that has been developed collaboratively on Google Docs could be imported somehow
Yes.
into this?
Yeah,
So that
sure,
there would
yes.
not be wasted work or
Oh, absolutely.
anything that would...
And if somebody wanted to make a change or to edit an assessment, it's a lot easier to edit it online than it is to take out the binder and retype it and make sure everybody got a copy. So, the streamlines.
So where is everything being saved? Is it being saved at the high school? Is everything going through the high school still?
With
Or
Atlas.
With Atlas? So it's actually going out to wherever Atlas is located, so it's going to the cloud? Being saved in the cloud? All right.
The cloud is our future.
But it's still going to the high school, right?
Yes, all of our
Because all the individual...
uploads go out of the high school.
Oh, yes, traveling.
Can the high school handle it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you've only got a few people working on it right now. You don't have all
But they're not
teachers.
usually using it too much, while they're constructing either, so I don't see, this doesn't take up a lot of bandwidth.
And they can access from home.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
That's great. And I think, just to sort of clarify, when you talk about notebooks and everything else, I think a lot of people who aren't in education every day sort of get confused on where like curriculum ends and lesson plans begin, and how do lesson plans as opposed to sort of curriculum and units and stuff fit into this? Would teachers have like daily lesson plans in this, or is that something they would be doing outside of this? Or
You could. I mean, when we went to the 2-day workshop, we talked to a lot of different school districts to see how they implemented it, because it is a change. And so some school districts, start at the high school and then work their way down, or when they get to a certain grade level, they require them to start in one content area, or they say in all content areas, but these are the must-haves inside of the unit. So we want all the standards in there. We want the skills that the students will be able to know and do. And we want assessments. There's lots of other things you can put in there, and we can customize how we want it. But I think starting in those types of chunks has been successful for other schools as well. So you're not overwhelming any of your teachers.
I don't think it would be in the sense of my plan book that I've kept on my desk for 30 years. Everything that's in that plan book is not going to end up on that list.
Right.
It's not mirroring that.
Can you just clarify, what exactly are we assessing when you say assessment? It's not, is it just the...
would this be like a copy of the test that would be given at the end of the unit?
Inside of the unit would be the assessment. So you can upload, if you have an assessment that you're giving, the grade 3 social studies, it would be inside of the unit, and so that it would be downloadable for other teachers.
So it's not an assessment of the student, it's an assessment of the curriculum?
Of the unit.
No,
stuff.
this is a quiz or a test.
Oh, I know, but it's not...
Think of it that way.
It's not the results of the kids filling it in, it's just the
It's a totally
template.
different assessment. Got it.
Yes.
So it would be like the template of the test.
Exactly.
So Ames is
Templates are good.
assessing the student, and this is just an assessment of the...
So this is written...
This is the electronic notebook, the file cabinet.
Okay. Just a different piece of the work. Okay. It's all right. Got it.
So in the coming weeks of our school committee meetings, one of the things that we'll be sharing with you as we finalize it and so forth, probably be more toward the middle of the spring, will be the unit format, so that you'll see that. And then, as Cindy alluded to, is the decision-making about how we're going to go, whether we're going to go by grade level or by content, and drill down and so forth, and what the timeline will be for that, so that you'll see what the schedule is for implementing it onto Atlas. So we're really hopeful that, when we originally looked at it and saw the number of districts that were using it, and I think it's caught on it's very popular in the area, and I think the availability that we will have around the collaboration is going to be huge. It really fits with a regional school system and trying to get everybody to talk to each other when you can't be in the same room all the time.
And the support for Atlas has been outstanding. You get them on the phone, they chat with you, they really, from soup to nuts, they're right there to help you. I'm very impressed with that.
I just want to make sure that I think it's a great concept, and I think in the long run, when it's all implemented, it will be great for everyone. But we're throwing a lot of things at our teachers all at once. Maybe if we threw this at them at one point, that'd be okay. But we'll also have new evaluations. We're having new standard-based report cards. That's a lot of time not on teaching that I think we really, we need to really be considerate of that for our teachers. Yep. Because it's just a ton of work that I want the kids to teach. I want the teachers to teach. I want them to feel like they can teach, that they don't have to, get their curriculum into this, which I think is a great idea in the long run. But I think we're throwing a lot at them in a short amount of time. Some of it is not by other restrictions, not our own, but I just think we need to be really conscious of that.
And we are, and that's why we're in the kind of the holding pattern that we are, because we really wanted to make it thoughtful and make it connect to the phasing of all the initiatives together, because it will be a building project. I don't see anybody seeing this as an initiative, but sort of seeing it as a logical progression of what we already have been doing. Plus, it'll be done outside of the school day, not within. So it'll be those who want to do it, doing the writing of units of study, for example. We're going to figure out how to do the other pieces, the mapping and so forth, outside as well. So I think what the teachers will have is a tool to use that's already filled out, instead of them having to fill it out.
It kind of goes back to my original question. One of the goals of this is to be able to have uniformity across the 3 towns, then not everybody has to fill it out, right? I mean, so there needs to be like a department head or something, and I noticed it says collaboration on there, so not every single teacher is going in and doing this. They're coming with it together.
Right.
So it's like posting a syllabus.
Exactly.
This is really a syllabus. It's like this is.
It's a little deeper
than that. It's a lot deeper than that. But what it is, this is where the evaluation connects to this. So that's a great question. So in terms of, it always comes back to, is the educator accountable for what we've said? So we're going to say, for example, these are the 6 units of study for science at grade 4. So the teacher is going to have them, they're going to be in there, this is where they're going to go to get the information about what it is, and then the principal is responsible for making sure the teachers are teaching those. And then, because we're doing DDMs, the common assessments, we'll now see whether or not teachers in a particular school or grade are performing as well as we would expect them to. And if they're not, we can go back to, well, lo and behold, they didn't teach the unit on electricity. They decided somehow or some reason they skipped it. So that's a piece that comes back to the conversation about, well, no, you got to go back and you got to teach it. Or now we're going to teach that in another grade so that those kids can get caught up.
So I was just showing you, this is one of the teachers at the high school who I actually got permission today. I just didn't want him to turn on the television and see. But this is his unit calendar. So these are all of his units here. And then this is when he delivers the instruction on those units throughout the year. And so these are easily changed. I'm not going to change it, but it's just really a click and a drag. And then the curriculum map is the map for each one of these units. So if I right-clicked by mistake. So here's the map for each one of the units. This is constant velocity. The next one's uniform acceleration. And these are the fields that right now are in the planning when he goes in and does it. It doesn't look like this when he goes to edit it. It looks very different. But he's putting in the big ideas and the central questions. He's putting in the content, the skills, and the vocabulary, and then he's got the assessments, as you can see as attachments. Does that help sort of visualize it? And then he's got an overall, just a course description that he enters in there.
And the curriculum framework is what you're writing up, the unit that you're working on, you're going to write up over the summertime?
We will do the unit calendar and the curriculum map that will address, so for example, Kathy's idea or somebody, we'll figure out how, but we'll upload the standards for the units, and then we'll have teacher teams working this summer to write the big ideas and the essential questions and all of the other pieces that have to go along with it to finish out a unit, to flesh it out.
And these curriculum, these are current, these aren't new.
Well, they're the most current we have. They're not the next gen.
Common Core is in here.
So Common Core for math and social math and ELA are in there. I don't know if he has Common Core ELA in there or not. He might not.
But for the most part, you're not recreating it.
We're not going to be recreating anything. That's right.
So the teacher that doesn't have the time, ability, or whatever to take on the task of doing one of these over the summer, do they then still have access to
Absolutely.
Every teacher in the district has an account.
Yes.
Everyone has access, they're just not required to.
What are the teachers saying about it?
I hear the ones that are using it really like it. So if you're not using it, you don't really know what it's about too much. And, it's a change to go from the Craving Binder to something else.
Or whatever, you keep on spreadsheets yourself,
Yeah.
whatever, right?
And I think it does elicit really good discussion around it.
But there's no need for every teacher to do this because, so for whatever science this is for constant velocity, and it's going to, whoever teaches it, this is what they're going to go to.
That's right.
Right.
So this is like a one-time thing, and we should tweak it.
Right.
That's how it changes. So
Absolutely.
essentially,
They make a copy, it goes into there, and they can personalize.
Okay. So not every teacher is doing just one.
And do they have to follow it? If the teacher is getting the point and the content across and they're not following this, they're doing it their way, the kids are succeeding and learning what they need to do?
So there will be decisions that will be absolutes. There will be givens. So, for example, the curriculum calendar is going to be something that will be in flux over the course of the year because teachers might be teaming up to do something different in that school and so forth, especially K-5. The actual standards that have to be taught in that grade will be a given. They will have to be addressed.
But they can be taught in all different ways. It doesn't have to be the same exact
There'll be
thing.
latitude, yes. Yeah.
And sometimes assessments could be different.
Right.
Assessments meaning
The test
they give.
for projects that they ask them to do.
Right.
All right, so that's good.
So the
Yeah.
projects and stuff like that has flexibility.
Yes. So there might be, 4 assessments listed for a particular unit of study, but the teacher only wants to do one. So then they're going to choose which one they want to do, or design their own, and hopefully put their own on there.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's what I was worried about.
Yeah. No, we don't.
Take away that.
No, we want,
Right.
as they're becoming more adept at using it, we want them to add to it. So we're going to give them, the idea really being...
Best practices.
Exactly. So the idea is for a brand new teacher, this will be as complete as possible so you can hit the ground running. But for veteran teachers, they're going to be able to pick and choose and add to.
Thank you.
Well, since we've had this, you've had it for a year now,
Mhm.
and we're gonna, can I assume that the teachers working after school and over the weekend, it's already in the budget?
Okay, so it'll be a conversation for our FY15. We have not been writing units as of yet that are outside a lot.
So teachers who have been using this have been doing it on their
They've been taking what they
Teacher's
have and
time.
uploading. Right.
on their own time.
Well, there's been some PD
With
time for the
everything.
at the high school
Oh,
level
It would have been really nice.
to document their curriculums.
And they're working backwards, so we have teams of teachers who've been using PD time to design their assessments. They may have worked backwards and uploaded the curriculum that's aligned with it. So.
Thanks, it was great to see.
It was good to see you too.
This is the beginning of these types of conversations at this level, so I think as we flesh it out more with these other pieces of the presentation, it'll all put together hopefully in time for you to make decisions about
I don't
it.
even know yet.
It's a good tool, it really is. Thank you both.
Thank you very much.
We don't have any old business. Do we have any citizens' comments? No. No. Okay. Anybody have any items for the next agenda?
I have a question, I don't know if it falls into this criteria. I'm interested, how do we determine if IEPs are being followed? And how do we get that? We're so into data and counting.
Yeah.
How do we know that kids who are on an IEP are supposed to be getting so many hours of this and that, it's actually happening? If you don't have a parent that, like myself, who, will be calling you.
Well, so the, between the special educator and the teachers involved on the IEP, they're required to make sure that the minutes are being followed. And then through spot check by the team chair in terms of what's being done in terms of the teacher's schedule and the director and then with the principal.
And how often does that actually happen?
Well, I mean, they have, usually I would tell you that it's usually a parent will call and ask, but all the teachers have to put in their schedules at the beginning of the year. And usually the principals schedule a variety, schedule their special ed teachers knowing what the time is on their IEPs. So they can make sure, because they have to schedule oftentimes instructional assistants have to assist in the delivery, so they have to know where those IAs are to be able to make sure that the minutes are being covered.
There have to be a certain number of team meetings, don't there?
There's an annual every year. There's one year. But it's usually at the end of the year, so, that's certainly a place if they're not making progress toward their goals, then, that would be the first question to be asked, we made sure that we've been giving the time.
Would at the end of the year be too late, though?
Certainly if they haven't met their goals, absolutely. So it starts at the beginning of the year when the principal overlooks the schedules to make sure that the delivery is being done.
So if the primary person is this classroom teacher, make sure that the child on IEP is getting the specialization that they need under their plan.
Right.
So that's the teacher's job.
The special educator, right.
The special educator, not
Right,
the
they work
regular
in
classroom
tandem,
teacher.
but it's the special educator who's the liaison, so they're responsible. Yeah. And, if they see more than one special educator, there's usually one who's the assigned liaison.
So are the parents normally on a communication basis with an IEP specialized education teacher? Because I know that when I have a question, I just go right to the teacher. If you had somebody in IEP, would you go right to the...
I would go right to the special educator, yeah.
Any other things? Motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Do we have to go into an executive session?
We didn't share at the beginning.
We're not going to do that tonight.
Oh, excellent.
Because Kathy had to leave, and it's my son's birthday, and I have to go. And we can do it in the next meeting. There was a motion. Has there been a second?
A second.
All those in favor? It's unanimous. Thank you.